Overpowered main characters in anime are truly great, but the really fun part is how the rest of the world responds to this level of overpoweredness. It's always fun when our MC shows up and surprises everyone around them, but the real awesome animes have an MC that is truly feared by everyone around them. Thanks for joining us once again at Animeology, as we take a very deep and close look at some awesome anime series where the MC is insanely overpowered and feared by everyone. Number 10. Youjo Senkai. Sly, cunning, and manipulative. The Saga of Tanya the Evil has one of the most unique and interesting anime MCs you will ever come across. A huge name across anime and a series that you definitely need to check out. Set in 2013, we meet a Japanese salaryman that is murdered by a co-worker he had recently fired at work, confronted by a god, and criticized. The man is reincarnated into a world where he would have no choice but to rely on God. Reborn as Tanya Degruschaff, a young orphan girl in an alternative version of World War I Germany, with the threat that if Tanya were to die, her soul would be sent to burn in hell for an eternity. Tanya aims to rise the ranks in the army and remain as far as possible from the battlefield. Although with the body of a young girl, Tanya is absolutely ruthless, prioritizing efficiency and putting her career above all else. Leaving everything else behind her, an insane power struggle to the very top has Tanya the Evil as a truly feared and insanely overpowered MC. Number 9. Helsing Ultimate. An absolutely brilliant and fun all-round anime series that introduces some fantastic dark fantasy elements into the vampire genre. Not afraid of some fast-paced and intense action scenes, Helsing Ultimate is a brilliant series that has a little something for everyone. The series focuses heavily on the secretive and noble order that was originally led by the world-famous Abraham Van Helsing, one of the world's greatest vampire slayers. The mission of this secretive organization is to search and destroy all traces of the undead and supernatural forces of evil that threaten humanity. A tight-knit family unit composed of some insanely powerful and unique characters, including Alucard, the original and most powerful vampire, that swore a loyalty to the Helsing family after having been defeated by Van Helsing 100 years before the story takes place. The story arcs are divided into interesting and exciting tales that take place across the planet. From Nazi groups to intense battles across London, the characters throughout Helsing further complement the grim and vicious world that has been created in this near-flawless anime series. Number 8. Guardian of the Spirits. With some interesting and intuitive fantasy elements involved in this otherwise traditional sword and sorcery anime series, Moroboto, Guardian of the Spirits really sets itself apart from the rest in an interesting and unique way. A bit slower paced, but with a heavier focus on some engaging and captivating characters, this is a series you don't want to miss out on. Following Balsa, a wandering warrior that is looking to atone for 8 deaths in her past by looking to save 8 lives. The story really kicks off with her saving Prince Chagam and becoming his bodyguard. The plot thickens when we learn that his own father had ordered the assassination. The unlikely duo being an epic and dangerous journey across the mystical fantasy world and start to reveal the unbelievably complicated and convoluted life of Balsa. Through a perilous and action-packed journey, we start to realize just how feared our MC is, and the series pivots and starts to explore the prince and his mysterious connections to a legendary water spirit, and his ability to destroy the entire kingdom. With these sorts of interesting developments, it's clear to see Guardian of the Spirit starts to open itself up to some seriously heavy and twisted plot points. Tune in and give this a watch, you will not regret it. Number 7. Origami. There's nothing wrong with a little fun slice-of-life series with a heavy focus on that classic blend of romance and comedy. It might sound traditional, but Origami is far from it, showing us Hachiman Hikigaya, a quiet and close-minded realist that is forced to join the school's club and work with two girls with their own inner issues. What we get to see is an absolutely brilliant series that definitely had us laughing, but effortlessly had us engrossed with fragile emotions and the inner conflicts of some surprisingly unique and intuitive character designs. Two loners in high school with their very own personalities and ideals. Each episode sets the scene with its own unique and well-thought-out social situation in which Origami reveals an interesting spin by choosing to focus on the psychology and inner thoughts driving the characters' actions. Number 6. Overlord. Easily one of the biggest names on here, but a personal favourite. You cannot mention fear and anime without bringing up the classic series that is Overlord. With insane levels of success as a manga, light novel, anime, and even film series, if you've not seen Overlord, there is no better time to get involved. At its core, Overlord is an isekai anime set in the year 2126. This highly popular and hugely successful multiplayer game is set to be shut down after a 12-year run. The game is famous for its insane level of detail, and the series follows a member of one of the most powerful guilds. As the game is about to be shut down, our MC, an Overlord character by the name of Momanga, decides to stay online as the game shuts down, but soon realizes he is now trapped in the game world. Filled with MCPs that start to think for themselves, and with no ability to shut the game or log out, our hero has no choice but to learn more about this world whilst trying to learn how to escape. This series is an insane powerful fantasy with our MC having insane levels of overpoweredness, destroying everything in his path with little to no concern about the repercussions. The show gets heavy at points and the overall story is interesting enough, but at its core, the strong focus on the MC is what makes Overlord an absolutely brilliant watch and one of the greatest of all time. Number 5. Fist of the North Star. An absolute classic anime series and one that you actually do need to check out. I have no doubt that every single one of you has experienced the many awesome memes that have spawned out of Fist of the North Star. But this is legitimately a series quite like any other, and one that you actually do need to check out. A phenomenal blend of martial arts and adventure set against a grim and grisly post-apocalyptic wasteland. After a horrific nuclear war ripped the world apart, Fist of the North Star centers its story on the deadly warrior by the name of Kenshiro, an absolute master of a long-forgotten martial art known as Hokuto Shinken. The martial art focuses on the ability to kill opponents by striking secret vital points, resulting in extremely violent and gory deaths. Fist of the North Star follows Kenshiro as he travels around the grim and desolate wasteland of the post-apocalyptic Earth as he looks to protect the defenseless and innocent whilst defeating the sea of gangs, bandits, and warlords that have prevailed. A hugely successful manga with some long-running anime series that are actually classics. We need a reboot, and we need it now. In the meantime, check out the original Fist of the North Star, and you will definitely see what makes it so iconic. Number 4. Demon Lord Dante. An interesting mix of horror and the supernatural, Demon Lord Dante legitimately had us a bit scared at points. With some interesting imagery and a brilliant tone throughout, it's hard to come across another anime series that balances these genres so well. Following Ryu Utsugi, a normal student that finds himself in the middle of a battle between God and devils. Ryu is reborn into the body of an ancient demon known as Dante. An interesting story as well, as we start to slowly realize that God might not be all great and that the demons might not be all evil. Demon Lord Dante plays around with some interesting concepts that allow the series feeling fresh and engaging. Filled with violence, death, and some absolutely epic story points, it's hard not to recommend a series like Demon Lord Dante. It challenges a lot of what we've become used to in an anime series and introduces some exciting new concepts, twists, and turns. Number 3. Claymore. Claymore is a legitimate personal favourite. Seriously underrated, this is a show that you actually need to check out. An epic adventure set in a sword and sorcery world, but with some grim and heavy elements of dark fantasy. This is an anime series that had us hooked from the very first episode. Set primarily on a fictional medieval island, we learn of these strange humanoid-shaped shifters that feed on humans, and this mysterious organisation that created human hybrids that slay these shape-shifting monsters for a fee. These female warriors are referred to as Claymores due to their huge swords. Powered by this crazy demonic energy with the ability to shapeshift and extreme strength among other unique abilities, each story arc within Claymore looks to focus on one of the 47 unique Claymore warriors across this fictitious land. A brilliant watch from start to finish, you do not want to miss out on this one. Number 2. Belzebub. A fun and unique anime series that delivers an awesome blend of action and comedy with a great supernatural flavour. Focusing in on the story of a first-year student at a school for delinquents. Our MC is Tatsumi Oga, telling the strange story about how he found a baby. Turns out that this baby is the son of a great demon king, and with our MC, Tatsumi, being selected to raise the child. This child, Belzebub, is literally the embodiment of evil, striking fear into all those around him. An interesting series that takes a very curious turn, adding a cast of interesting and unique characters that further develop the story arc in an interesting and fresh way. Belzebub is a fun watch with a strong overarching story, introducing new and original elements that had us hooked from the very first episode. Belzebub is a series you definitely need to check out. And number 1. Golden Kamuy. An incredible and insanely unique anime series with an absolutely brilliant setting and mashing of engaging genres. An awesome adventure with a surprisingly realistic focus on historical accuracy with an irreplaceable Japanese look at a Western series. Golden Kamuy is a series quite unlike any other. Although seeing reasonable levels of success as a manga, Golden Kamuy saw a huge spike in popularity as an original net animation and anime television series. Mainly focused on Sachi Sugimoto, a member of the Japanese army, and his quest to find a huge secret treasure with the help of a young tribeswoman. Set primarily in Hokkaido, Golden Kamuy looks to detail a very realistic political, technological, and cultural landscape, even going so far as to meet some real-life characters and events. The series also respectfully explores the indigenous Ainu people, as well as their culture and somewhat unique language, as well as developing a sort of hardships and struggles they endured. Also looking towards our MC and his experience as a soldier from an ethical and emotional point of view. A brilliant and engaging anime series that does give the occasional laugh, but is very heavily steeped in the more serious and mature issues. There is literally no other series like this, and you need to watch Golden Kamuy. Still, in the early days, Golden Kamuy will one day be considered one of the greatest anime series of all time.